Well, federal judges continue to kick Donald Trump's administration in their butts when it comes to the law, and they keep kicking their butts in court. A federal judge ruled that the administration, they stopped them from trying to bar Harvard from enrolling international students. More than 6,000 students go to Harvard. They come from all across the country. In her ruling, District Judge Judge Burroughs put a temporary restraining order in place, stopping the government's directive just days before graduation, bringing some relief to students and faculty caught in the chaos. See, these idiots actually said that if they did not comply with a list of demands in 72 hours, then not only could they not enroll any international students, they also couldn't even, they will force those students there now to transfer. Yeah, that's how stupid these people literally are. They're dumb. They're really, really dumb. And not only that, Trump, in one of his usual nonsensical musings in the Oval Office, he was asked about this, and if y'all want to see how just incompetent this man is, listen to him complain about the students. But then he don't even know how to talk. So he's complaining about Harvard international students needing remedial math, but hell, I think he needs some remedial speech communications. Check this here out, y'all.
Why would you not want the best and brightest from around the world to come to Harvard?
I do, but a lot of the people need remedial math. Did you see that? Where the students can't add 2 and 2 and they go to Harvard. They want remedial math, and they're going to teach remedial math at Harvard. No, wait a minute. So why would they get in? How can somebody that can't...
Well, we know for a fact this fool can't even read. I mean, he loves to rip everybody else, but he's that dumb he can't even read, and so he ain't the brightest bulb in a dark room. And so he loves to call other people low IQ and things along those lines. But no, you're the idiot. You're the one. You can't read. He sits here and lies, makes stuff up, says all sorts of crazy things that, how are you going to question somebody else's educational skills? Matt Manning, civil rights attorney out of Corpus Christi, joins us. Raven Schwam Curtis, content creator and speaker out of Chicago. Raven's first time on the show, so she gets hazed. Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA out of D.C. as well. Glad to have all three of y'all here. Matt, listen, for lawyers, it's got to be a whole lot to constantly look at these idiots. And they keep getting their ass whooped. I mean, Trump judges, Obama, Biden judges. I mean, thank goodness that even when you have conservative appointed judges, they still understand there's a thing called the law.
Yeah, and you can actually move for sanctions if somebody has brought a case that is, baseless or groundless, or that they know is frivolous. And that's what we're really seeing DOJ and Mr. Trump doing is, they're using the courts, obviously, to try to further their ideological goals. But a lot of these are baseless cases, the same way they were when there were the, election denial cases regarding all of this alleged election fraud that, if I remember correctly, was never proven in a court of law.
Never.
And it was routinely just decried by the courts as not having any value. So none of this is new. And, it's interesting that you talk about how unintelligent he is, because Donald Trump went to Wharton, right? Now, why did he get into Wharton? Likely because he had money and they were able to buy their way into Wharton.
His daddy cut a check. That's how he got in.
Precisely, right? But for most people out there know this, but Wharton is like one of the top business schools perennially in the country. So it's nothing to shrug at. And to go to a school like that and then to routinely be saying some of the things that he's saying and displaying some of the lack of intelligence that he's displaying, is a problematic thing. And it's interesting because it's this juxtaposition between, like, the elites are bad, these bad people are at the top of the heap, are the people we need to get rid of. We need to, quote, drain the swamp. But he's in that same rarefied air as the kind of people who go to Wharton and Harvard and, the kinds of people who are able to exist in certain echelons. So I say all of that to say that there's a cognitive dissonance there, as we see with everything coming out of the Trump administration, the way that they're playing their base and trying to put on this show as though, they don't like Harvard or any of these other elite places, despite being products of them. But I don't know how he got into Wharton, but I would like to know how big that check was.
Well, check this out, Raven. Pete Davidson was on Saturday Night Live, and he talked about in the radio interview how the idiot really can't read.
Donald Trump, you were telling me.
I have one story I'm allowed to tell, and it's hilarious.
You have stories you're not allowed to tell?
What happened with the Trump story?
Okay, so he's like, he doesn't really know how to read.
For real?
Yeah, and he loves to improv.
Yeah.
So during like the table read, he before we were gonna read before he had to read each line, and he's the host, so he's at everything.
Yeah.
He would go, I'm not going to say this. I think I'm going to say it the way I want to say it. Is that okay? Is that okay, Lauren? Is it everything? And everybody's like, what? And then this is my favorite part is there was a sketch that we wrote where he's at Disneyland with his daughter, and the line is, all right, let's get out of here. Turkey legs? Let's go get turkey legs? And he doesn't know how to read. So he went, all right, let's get out of here, turkey legs. He called his daughter turkey legs.
Maybe that was his improv.
Oh, no, it wasn't. And then he looked up, he doesn't get it. He thinks if everybody's laughing with him, but we're all laughing at him. And it was crazy. He would be like, I did a good job, right? And we're like, yeah.
Did he need reassurance, a lot of reassurance, or was he pretty confident?
He constantly kept saying how amazing the ratings were going to be.
And they were.
He's like, this is going to be number one.
It's what he is. So him calling somebody else incompetent, low IQ, needing remedial math. Yeah, how about you, dude? Mr. Six-time bankruptcy man?
100%. I mean, I think what we see in Donald Trump, to build on your point, is really just someone who is emblematic of the rise of anti-intellectualism in this country, right? To me, the right is emblematic of that. I don't know when it stopped being cool to be smart and nerdy and intellectual and thoughtful and capacious in your thinking. But apparently that's where we're at as a country, and that's a really sad day. And I think we see, that position and that politics really manifesting in his isolationist position that he's taking up, particularly as it pertains to international students. You have to be deeply, deeply ahistorical as an individual to believe that international students and workers and folks who immigrate to this country don't add tremendous value to this nation, right? Aren't building these institutions, this nation, our research, our infrastructure, brick by brick, side by side with us. That is a fundamentally anti-intellectual position to take up. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's rich that he's out here calling, Congressman Al Green low IQ and can barely bring a sentence together himself. And also, that he's brazenly weaponizing anti-Semitism to enact this anti-intellectual politics, because that's what we're seeing play out on these college campuses. This taking up, supposedly, of we're combating anti-Semitism to attack higher education, to take away funding from critical research that has nothing to do with what it is they say they care about, right? Which is supposedly cracking down on anti-Semitism. But what they're actually doing is pushing people who are already on the margins further to the margins, and doing it on behalf of people, myself included, as a Black and Jewish woman, who did not ask them to do it for us. So, I mean, all in all, I think it's really just a shame.
Mustafa, Raven talked about anti-intellectualism. It's because they like their supporters dumb.
There's a lot of truth in that, because you have low information voters. It's so much easier to be able to pull the wool over their eyes, to have folks who just operate off of bumper sticker sort of language and not have to dive deep on the critical issues that will have impacts in your life. And of course, we know that Trump is all about disinformation. When you talk about somebody who is uneducated and someone who has a lack of skills, all you got to do is go back and look at what he tries to hide. Now, folks may remember when Michael Cohen actually came to Capitol Hill and shared during that hearing that he had to draft letters both to Trump's high school, to Fordham, and to Wharton, so that you could never take a look at his transcripts. So we know that you got that dynamic going on. We also know, and it's been proven, that he said that he graduated first in his class.
Lie.
It was another untruth. So for him to degrade international students is really interesting, because all of us who have went to college, or not even college, just in other situations with folks who've come from other countries, they often speak multiple languages. They often, maybe had already been a professional in their country, and they came here to get the additional education to be able to practice whatever it is, law or medicine or dentistry or a number of other things. So once again, this is the disinformation. This is trying to rewrite both history that's happening in this moment and in the past. And we just have to make sure that we continue to place a spotlight on both the misinformation and the disinformation that they continue to push forward.
Absolutely. Because he's a liar, they are liars, that's who they are.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.